I'm Reed Becker with the Cape Cod Baseball League, and today I am joined by former YD Red Sox and now with the Daytona Tortugas, Jared Lyons. And first off, Jared, just now being in the Cincinnati Reds minor league system with that organization, how has the transition been moving up the ladder?
Pretty seamless. I've coming out of college ball for 4 years and then obviously playing summer ball every year. I got used to the workload and, having to travel in some summer leagues, even in college, and some long bus trips. And that's pretty much what it is like in the Florida State League in Florida where I was playing. And yeah, it's been great. Nothing too serious, nothing I couldn't handle. And it's been a really good time. My teammates are great. The staff's great. They just take really good care of us. Even on the road too. The teams and the clubhouses we stay at, they do a good job of taking care of us. So
You mentioned being similar. I think you kind of more mentioned it towards the college level with all the travel and everything. How would you say is it the similarity or is it more difference with, because in Cape Cod, there was a lot of travel on bus rides, right, to different ballparks. Would you say it's more similar to
right.
that way or more different?
It's pretty much the same. I went to a smaller college. I know there are other schools that are, you know, have a little bit bigger pay, or a little bit more money than we do. But we took buses everywhere we went, and yeah, the big mode of transportation that we use out in our affiliates is a bus. So yeah, I got pretty used to it. It's I don't like it obviously, but it's nice to have my own seat. We take two buses, so there is a bit of room. But yeah, it's like the Cape Cod League, but the trips are a little bit longer, closer to 3-4 hours sometimes. But then again, it's nice to have a little bit more room, having your own seat. But and it's not a school bus either. I know in the Cape League we took school buses around, but it was a good time up there anyway. But no, for sure, the mode of transportation is still buses, and I don't think that's going to end anytime soon.
Now, take me back to last year then when you first got drafted by the Cincinnati Reds. Just take me through what your emotions were when you received that phone call.
I mean, it's pretty much what everybody says. It's like, it's a surreal moment. Everything you've worked for your whole career, kind of leads up to that moment. And some guys cry, some guys, they can't believe what happened. And yeah, I definitely cried a little bit, but it was really nice to see all the people reach out. All the people from my past, whether it's little league, high school, college, other summer ball leagues, other travel ball teams I played with. All those guys reaching out and congratulating me, and getting out here, playing with all the other guys that got drafted. Yeah, there's the guys that get drafted are the best of the best. So like it's cool to be around those guys. It's a really nice environment, and it's exactly what I expected coming out here. So
Where were you or what were you doing when you found out the news?
I was actually shagging BP at Red Wilson Field,
Mhm.
behind the fence. I was on home run balls that day, so I
Okay.
was just sitting there with my phone, and I saw my name pop up on the draft tracker, and then that's when everything started flooding in. So
Saw
it
it come
was
up.
really cool.
You saw your name come up before you got the call?
Oh yeah, so actually, like me and my agent were, he was handling most of the calls for me. So if he got a call or I got a call that settled what we were looking for, we just pulled the trigger on it. So that's what happened, and then he called me immediately after and let me know. So it was really cool. It was really cool.
Now, reflecting more back on your time from the Cape Cod League, what would you say that the CCBL taught you that you can now bring up to the minors in the Reds?
Well, obviously, the batch of kids that come up to the Cape to play are, a lot of them are those Power Five conferences, the SEC, the ACC kids, Pac-12, Big 12, all Big 10, all those guys. Some really good ball players, and they know how to play the game, especially the hitters. Those dudes rake, and you got to go up there as a pitcher and have a lot of confidence in your stuff. And not only that, just make pitches and work on stuff and trust your ability that you can get guys out. that was a big thing for me, honestly. Like back in school, my senior year, I didn't have the best year, and I was lucky enough to go back up to the Cape. And after my first outing, that's when the wheels started turning again. I got my confidence back, and I actually ended up having a pretty good summer, which ultimately led up to get my name called. So, I'm forever grateful for that, especially for the opportunity. Coach Pick, Scott Pick, the head coach for the YD Red Sox, he let me know that, I was welcomed back, as long as I played well, and he brought me back up there and gave me that opportunity. So it's definitely a really good place to go if you're looking to play professional baseball.
What influence or how big of an influence do you think Coach Scott Pickler had on you?
I only played for him. I played in 2021 in the back half of the summer, and then the first half of the summer in 22. So I didn't get to play under him for that long, probably one whole summer if I were to add those two up. But I mean, he's had a bunch of guys play under him, a bunch of draft picks play under him. So he's had a lot of knowledge, and he tried to pass on along a bunch of information to me about how it's going to work. Things to take along with me, like, during the games, he would come to next to me in the dugout after an inning and say, "Hey, like, just continue to throw strikes. Don't mess around with these guys, and trust the pitches that he calls." And I learned from that. I learned that he's pretty off speed heavy, so I was able to learn that if I can throw my off speed over the plate, I don't throw an overpowering fastball, but when I throw my fastball, not every time, and I mix it up pretty good. I get guys off balance, and then I end up getting swing and misses with my heater, and even breaking some bats, especially with the guys up in the Cape. So it's pretty good. He gave me a lot of stuff to transfer over to my new career here in pro ball, and I'm just taking it and running with it.
Who would you say had the biggest influence on you with the game of baseball along the way?
On the way, uh, I'd probably have to say my pitching coach in college, and now he's the head skipper there at George Mason. He played pro ball for 20 plus years. He made it to the show. I think he played in the show for 10 years. And the amount of information I've learned from that dude is unbelievable. Sean Camp's his name, and he's probably the best there is, in my area. So it was really cool to learn from him. Another pitching coach that I went to is Chris Giblin. He's in the Northern Virginia area where I'm from, and he's another guy that just put out information to me. Gave me stuff I can use, stuff I didn't have to use, and just every step of the way they were there and gave me the best chance to have success.
What was the biggest piece of information or advice that they gave you that helped?
Just be me. Go out there. I've had an ability to throw the ball, and as long as I'm trusting my ability and throwing each pitch with conviction, I'm gonna have success out there, or at least a better chance at having it. You can't really control what happens after you let go of the ball, but winning that mental side of the game has been a big part for me, and I think that's what helps guys transcend to the next level and you make it to the big league. So that's definitely one of the major things that they gave to me.
What would you say your favorite memory from your time overall playing in Cape Cod is when looking back at it?
Looking back, honestly, probably just the relationships I made, not only with the players, but my host, I actually got off the phone with him earlier today. So like I keep in contact with him. I stayed with him both summers I was up there, and just meeting people like that, like having those relationships, meeting those guys. A lot of the players I still keep in contact with, and a lot of them are still playing in the tournament right now. And it's just really cool, to see that. And baseball's a small world like that. You meet a lot of people and who know other people, and like you get connected that way, and it's really cool, especially when you keep in contact. As it helps. It's a hard game, and having guys there in your corner and helping each other out along the way it goes a long way for sure. So
What will you miss the most from Cape Cod?
from Cape, probably the weather. Being close to the ocean,
Mm.
playing at those really unique and historical fields like Red Wilson Spin. It's a pretty nice field, and where My favorite part is probably of the field is like the berm. So like in Orleans, how like the seats on the right field line, or it's like a hill. I think I've always liked that kind of thing. But yeah, just being able to go out there and play in those fields, and the weather is beautiful. You're right by the ocean. You can't really get much better than that. So
What was your favorite ballpark to play at?
I pitched in a lot of them. If it isn't YD, obviously it's biased. I think I liked Orleans just because of like the amount of people that came to those games, and it's just like a really cool environment. Um, the field's beautiful, and it's just Orleans usually has a pretty good team too. So yeah,
And then
one of those two probably.
just lastly then, well, actually two more before I let you run.
Okay, yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah. First off, just what would you say, what was your off day look like when you were up in Cape Cod not playing baseball?
Either I would just sit in the house, and or I'd go out with some friends. Um, that were on the team and we'd go get some to eat. I was pretty beat. It was a long spring season, and then in the summer, I was just really focused on, making sure my body was ready to go for my next outing out there. But no, and working camps was another thing too. On off days we had camps, I think, and working camps in the morning, having to get up for that. But it was a lot of fun. The kids were great. Um, but yeah, nothing crazy. I think my host dad he had a bow and some paddle boards, and he lived on like a little lake pond thing, which was really cool. I was able to just go out there whenever I wanted and spend a lot of time out there getting beat by the sun a little bit. But no, there's a lot of things to do up there, and it's a blast. And I really do wish I could go back there and play again, but no, 'cause I'm too old for that now.
Do you have a favorite town of all the Cape towns?
Favorite town? I didn't. I mean, I spent a lot of time in YD, so I gotta have to say YD. But
Right,
um, Yarmouth, Dennis. But
right.
I heard Chatham's beautiful, like that area. It looked really nice. I know the bus rides in and the car rides in, but the surrounding area was beautiful. Um, but yeah, I didn't get to experiment too far outside of Yarmouth. But Yarmouth was a beautiful place to stay, and I was really lucky and fortunate to stay there, especially with Doc, who was my host dad.
And then just lastly, then what would you be your biggest piece of advice to players that will be going to Cape Cod this summer that are trying to get to where you are now?
Obviously it's a big summer for a lot of guys. There's a lot of stress involved with the draft and all that, but just have fun with it. That was probably the best thing for me. Just going in there, having nothing to lose, going out there having fun. You're up there with a bunch of other great players. Make new relationships, and just have fun with those guys up there, and you know, soak it all in, and good things happen when you're just playing loose and having fun. So yeah, just go up there and do your thing. You're good enough to get there, so just you know, trust who you are and your skills, and you're gonna have success.
Well, Jared, we thank you so much for your time today for joining us. That's former YD Red Sox Jared Lyons, and I'm Reed Becker with the Cape Cod Baseball League. Stay tuned for more down the line.